Good morning, everybody, and a happy Friday morning. You guys, we have a lot in here. First of all, the royals are out and about, so there's a lot of that. Second of all, Harry's visa stuff has come up again. There's a lot of new information. Then we're delving back into what's coming out with Meghan Markle and the show and Netflix. So there's a lot. So let's just jump in and get busy, shall we? Let's go. And we're going to start off with King Charles. He officially opened a new hospital in the West Midlands, meeting staff and patient. This was in Birmingham. There were a lot of onlookers. They were waving flags and they cheered really loudly when he arrived. Unfortunately, I can't play the sound for you. But when he arrived at this hospital, it's a 736-bed site. He was supposed to be at this hospital in March, but it was rearranged and canceled due to the side effects from his cancer treatment. So when he gets in there were crowds of hundreds of patient, staff, medical students. They were cheering, clapping. They took selfies. The king stopped to speak to a lot of people. The chairman of the Sandwell and the West Birmingham Trust, Sir David Nicholson, said it was a great honor to have the king there. Looked great. Look at all the people in the glass above him. Do you guys see that? Like the floors were just full of people that were just waiting to see him. Now, the king headed upstairs. I love the fact that they made a point of making him sterilize his hands. And one of the people that he spoke to was this young lady. Her name is Jacqueline Page. She's 85. She's in one of the hospital's acute elderly care wards. And she said to him, "Well, I'm wearing out." And King Charles cracked back, quote, "I know this is the terrible thing, as I'm already discovering the bits don't work so well once you get past 70. I love his attitude. I just think it's wonderful. I think that's one of the things I like about him. He does tend to have a positive attitude. Then the next person he met was a man named Matthew Shinda, who's suffering from prostate cancer. And the king told him, "I'm not too bad," when asked about how his recovery was going. And Shinda said he spoke with Charles about the way he's navigating his cancer treatment. And Charles said, "The great thing, I think, is they're getting better and better at dealing with these things. And there is always hope down the road." And before he left, he unveiled a fabulous plaque. The next thing he did was tour the Birmingham Oratory, which marks the canonization of Cardinal John Henry Newman. So when he got there, he was greeted by the Archbishop of Birmingham and the provost of the Birmingham Oratory, who guided him through the church and gave him an explanation of the history. He then went to the library, and there he viewed, the king did, several historic items, including among them the Bible, the 1657 Bible, with a dedication in it to King Charles II. He also saw the library's oldest book, which dates back to 1474, the handwritten manuscript of the Dream of Gerontius, I hope I'm saying that correct, at dates around the 1800s. King Charles then visited the Cardinal's room, which has remained untouched since he died in 1890, to see his personal effects. And before he left, he met the oratory community and staff in the courtyard, where he unveiled a plaque commemorating his visit. Now, this oratory was founded by Cardinal Newman in 1848 after he joined the congregation of the oratory in Rome. The current church building opened in 1909 in his memory. Newman was created a cardinal in 1879 and remained at the oratory until his death. He was canonized at the Vatican in 2019. Let's move on now to Queen Camilla, who visited the 4th Battalion of the Ranger Regiment in Aldershot. She represents them as the Royal Colonel. So she arrived there, and of course, the weather was sucky. And one of the first things that happened when she got there was she was presented a gift by the battalion's commander. It was an army brooch to mark her dedication to the battalion ahead of the launch of a charity supporting its soldiers. It was actually a gift from the regiment and the Worshipful Company of Carpenters. So she immediately pinned it on, and she kept it on for the rest of the visit. She met some of the team behind the new Peregrine Fund, which is a welfare charity for the Ranger Regiment, which transitioned from the Rifles in 2021. There are 4 battalions, which are the core of the Army Special Operations Brigade. Now, of course, while she was there, and meeting members of the unit, she presented a medal to Corporal Pearson. He earned the medal for outstanding contributions to operations. And of course, after giving the award, she spoke with him and his family. Now, going back to the charity, that fund, that scheme is designed to provide welfare support for soldiers and their families, that they should have personal access to financial and pastoral assistance, especially during overseas deployments. Throughout the entire visit, Camilla took time to meet personnel one-on-one. She was shaking hands with troops that were lined up in uniform. She was speaking with heavily armed soldiers that had specialist rifles. I think it was wonderful. Let's move on now to Princess Anne, who visited the Gene Haas Advanced Manufacturing Higher Education Facility in Gloucester. Now, during this visit, she met with their maintenance apprentices, Matt and Evie, along with some level 4 apprentices across a range of disciplines and employers. She also met representatives from Haas, who have been strong supporters of Gettr, and with the Board of Governors, they've been unveiling a commemorative plaque to mark the occasion. Princess Anne took time to tour the facilities, the main training center, the new facility, which highlights the importance of engineering and manufacturing within the country. She also received a gorgeous bouquet of flowers, which she had in her hand as she was saying goodbye to everybody and leaving the facility. I haven't seen Anne out for a while. I'm very happy to see her. I think she looks absolutely fabulous. Way to go, Anne. All right, let's move on to our Harry Meghan stuff. All right, to start with, you guys had a lot to say about Jose Andres. Apparently, allegedly, he took in U.S. aid during the Ukraine war. He's supplying food from food vans when Harry and Meghan went to the California files. That is true. He apparently was fired by Putin or Zelensky for being a food supplier for either soldiers. He's been called out for being a traitor. Apparently, he's not, all that in a bag of chips. I was unaware of all that. All right, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Ricky Lee, Tim Joel. This is a group on Twitter, but they're also on TikTok. They've talked a lot about the royals on both, social media sites, but they just had something to say about the pantry of Meghan Markle at the rental house. Thank you to Murky Meg. And by the way, welcome back, my friend. Listen to this, you guys.
Has extremely strict rules for her staff to organise her pantry for the show. All the jars and bottles, etc., need to be perfectly arranged and displayed 2 centimetres apart. Staff have to measure the 2 centimetres or else endure a Meghan meltdown. She also had a meltdown once when a staff member accidentally bought own brand baking soda instead of the brand that she likes, Arm & Hammer. And then this is what apparently she said. Despite being told the store was sold out, Meghan went nuts, complaining that it was triggering for her because when she was young and poor, her family could only afford own brand products.
At first, having I was the staff fill the pantry of her mansion, that's triggering for her.
Yeah.
All right, next up, it was Doria's birthday. She turned 69 on September 2nd, and Meghan put up this clip, this happy birthday clip on her Instagram. And everybody was like, oh, it's so sweet, and it's so rare, and it's this and it's that. Well, the interesting thing is, this is the exact post from May 23rd. It was on her old Instagram. May 23rd, 2016. All she did was take it and put some hearts on it. Where is Doria? Nobody's seen her for a while. Something weird is going on. All right, let's move on now. Harry's visa. Do you guys remember back in March, the court decided it was going to be a private matter, and I showed you guys the documents. They were all redacted, and we didn't know what was going on. Well, apparently some new files have come out. They were unearthed by officials in President Trump's administration because, let's face it, Biden was absolutely protecting this guy. Let me remind you guys that the Heritage Group put in a Freedom of Information Act with Homeland Security after Harry admitted in despair that he was on all of these drugs. Now, here we are 5 months later, everything was thrown out. Come to find out, another wing of the U.S. government, the Department of State, which is headed by Marco Rubio, is in possession of over 1,000 more pages of documents that could be relevant. Their existence was revealed in a 2-page court filing by Jeanine Pirro. Remember, she was a former TV judge. Paperwork is pointing that Harry has an A1 head of state document, which is a rare diplomatic visa granted at the discretion of the Department of State, given to royal family members, and it gives the person free reign to come and go from the U.S. at will and work in the country while remaining a foreign citizen. The security check is lower for a normal non-immigrant visa, so therefore he would not have been quizzed about his drug abuse. Now, he could have had this visa his whole life, even as a child, and he would be able to maintain it because he's still the son of King Charles. The Department of State vets and issues these visas with little input from the Department of Homeland Security. So they're expecting now that this is what Harry has. So Harry's sources said he was completely truthful on his visa application, but now we know that the questions about drugs would not have been on his visa application. Well, very interesting. I think Trump needs to step in on this one and revoke his head of state visa. He's not working for the crown. He doesn't work for the British government. It's absolutely wrong for him to be there or be here in the United States on that type of visa. Now, the article says they're allowed to work, but primary A1 visa holders are not supposed to work or engage in business activities while in the United States. Their purpose is supposed to be official government duties. No independent work. They have to be there for a reason. He's on the wrong visa. All right, let's move on now back to the Netflix show. They're saying that the royals snubbed the show. No, I don't believe they snubbed the show. They have bigger priorities. The show was irrelevant to their core focus. The family obviously remains weary of the Sussexes with all the controversies. And so obviously they're not going to support the show. She's always exploiting their royal connection. I mean, why would they? It's not that they're snubbing it. It's just irrelevant to them. Now, since her show didn't crack the top 10, they're asking, does Netflix care? No, I don't think they care. But they do have a stake in the as ever. And so they have to do something to try to recoup some of the money that they gave. Remember, Harry and Meghan got money from Netflix every month for 5 years. They need to recoup some of that. Now, in an attempt to get people to, tune in, Meghan dropped 15 revelations in her show. Are you guys ready? 1, she has pain when she's away from Archie and Lily, which it could have, fooled me. 2, the night Harry proposed didn't go quite as planned because the chicken didn't come out right. 3, Tan Fran's response to Meghan's flower sprinkles, saying it was the gayest, he'd seen in a long time. 4, Meghan jokes about having the secret third child, which of course we've all heard about it. 5, Meghan and Chrissy Teigen were bonding over the deal or no deal eyelash ritual. 6, when she knew Harry was the one. 7, her surprise anniversary dinner in the UK. 8, that Meghan and Harry served fried chicken at their wedding reception. 9, the 40th birthday hat she made for Harry. 10, her bath and bodywork obsession with the smell vanilla. 11, the honoring of her California roots. 12, her reaction when a guest shaded Suits. 13, that she went to McDonald's to eat their apple pies after acting auditions. 14, that Archie and Lilibet have picked up Harry's accent with saying the word zebra. And 15, Meghan is loving her 40s and the friendships that got her there. Now, here's the problem with all of those revelations. Nobody cares. I think she honestly thinks that by giving you little peeks into her likes and her history and her past, that you guys are just going to love her even more. Because remember, this is a woman that says the haters don't really hate her. She can't believe that nobody likes her. For all the positive puff pieces they're putting out, what people are saying is that Meghan's lifestyle show is the same old Fiesta of fakery, garnished with idiotic statements and camaraderie with total strangers that try to pretend like they're lifelong friends. It's just not working. Every time she wraps a cake or simpers about her apple butter or talks about how the doctor made her eat dates when she was pregnant, people just want to curl up. This is a woman that has burned every bridge she's ever crossed. She suffers from multiple accusations of bullying, which she always denies. She ghosts anyone who's ever displeased her, including her own father. Every time she chirps on about baking cookies as gifts to show up with love or gifting cashmere socks to nurture and value her friends, people are like, okay, but what about your poor old dad? Bet he would love a biscuit or a home-cooked meal or a care package now and then. You know, people have not forgotten that Thomas Markle is 81 years old. He's in poor health. Maybe Meghan could reach out to him, but no, she's too busy giving expensive presents to her new best friend, Queer Eyes Tan France, while making him a cup of lavender gray latte, a drink she invented, which is basically Earl Grey tea, some honey, some milk, and some vanilla. I mean, viewers should know this is not a new series or a second series. This is a continuance of the Netflix footage, which was shot along the original episodes, which I've already told you in my last video. And what did we learn about Meghan Markle along the way? Well, we learned she doesn't like to bake. She hasn't juiced for 20 years. She likes thoughtful planting. She doesn't use a guard when slicing on a mandolin. She puts basil and rosemary ice cubes in her sparkling raspberry lemonade to infuse flavor, and she likes to wear neutrals, which we all remember when she said that she was forced to not wear bright colors when she was a working member because it might overshadow somebody else. She basically proved herself to be a liar. What it comes down to, this series is all about Meghan and her lifestyle and how you should envy her. But the truth is, it's unattainable for most of us. This is an experiment to try to turn her into Martha Stewart, and it has failed miserably. So we know that the second series was a complete turnoff for the U.S. and the UK. You know, when you're supposed to start off with your strongest days with this show, and yet everything was really bad. So it didn't matter which ones they started off with. I mean, what were they expecting? This woman put a roast chicken in the oven, and it was treated with the kind of reverence usually reserved for the opening of the Ark of the Covenant. So with all these failures, I'm really not understanding why Netflix in the new deal agreed to fund Archwell Production Company going forward. That's going to cost Netflix about $2.5 million a year. So I don't understand why they're doing that. And we also know that Meghan made a suggestion that she could be a foodie and have people follow her around on a food tour. And of course, we have the Diana documentary. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think they're hanging on, hoping there'll be a divorce something. Oh my goodness, you guys, you know what I want. Don't forget to leave those comments, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my second channel, a link to my father's book, which is still up for sale on Amazon, and a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.